Great day, good evening. I am coming to you really quickly. I'd like to leave you with a word of encouragement, drop a couple of nuggets on you on something that's been pondering on my mind for a couple of weeks now. As I was thinking back on the transition that took place about almost 2 years ago, during the time where God spoke to me about putting videos on social media. This October will be 2 years that I've been coming on social media. I'm grateful for those 2 years. But what I wanted to talk to you about is being uncomfortable. It took, okay, before I say that, let me say this. As I want to share with you about being uncomfortable, some things that I've learned over this 2 year span is that I'm learning that oftentimes when God is trying to move us from where we are to put us on the path in which He is trying, put us on the path where He's trying to take us to, oftentimes He will ask us to do things that make us very uncomfortable. It's those things that we fear the most that God wants to use so that we can overcome the fear in that area so that He can move us to the next place or into the next assignment or whatever you want to call it. And so here it was. I couldn't understand when I first started out why He was making me do it, because I really didn't want to do it. But what I've come to learn is that it was because in order for me to grow, God had to push me out into the deep, past my comfort zone. And so, what I want to share with you about being comfortable is that when you get too comfortable, fear is going to settle, because the fear settles because you're afraid of the unknown. I understand that, because when you are so used to having control and having your normal routine, you kind of get comfortable in that. You don't mind adding a few things here or there as long as you have the ability to make the choice on what you add. But when you say yes to God, that means that you give God total access to your life and allow Him to do in it and with it whatever He chooses to do. And so you have to trust that as you take His hand, when you say yes, that you have to trust that He's going to lead you through the darkness. Because when you say yes to God, that's what you're doing. You're living in a dark place, a dark space. He doesn't reveal to you everything that you need to know. When you say yes to God, that means whatever your will is for my life, that is what I'm going to do. And so you have to hold on to His unchanging hands. And when He asks you to do things that make you so very uncomfortable, you have to trust Him in knowing that He knows what's best for you. Now, does that trusting Him come easy? No. It's a process. As God pushes you, as He asks you to do it and you say yes, He has to push you along the way, because He knows that there's fear there. That fear also brings about stagnation. Stagnation makes you immobile. And when you are immobile, you're unable to have any type of movement. And as I often teach, is that without movement, there is no growth. God wants us to stay in a place and in a mindset of growing and evolving and changing. This world, even though we can't see it, this world that we live on is always turning on its axis, and it does not stop. And so as the world is continually changing and evolving, not just that it's turning on its axis, but with everything that's going on in the world that we know now in 2021 is so much different than what we knew in 2019. And so we have to learn how to still move even though we feel the fear. God said in His word to be not afraid. I don't know how many times, but He didn't say that we would never feel fear. So fear makes you stagnant. Stagnant keeps you immobile. And then you are resistant. Anything that makes us uncomfortable, we are resistant to it because our flesh doesn't like it. our mind can't comprehend it. And so resistance, though, what I want you to know, and I've taught on this before, is that when you're resisting, you're not just resisting the thing that you're being pulled or compelled to do. What you're really doing is you're resisting of God. You're resisting His movement, because it's Him that's impressing on you to move out of that comfort zone so that He can put you on a path to take you to where He wants you to be. And then I want you to know that it's going to be very uncomfortable. God didn't call us to a place of comfortable, even though we often get comfortable and we stay there. I'm learning that as we stay comfortable, we will miss out on certain things. When we stay comfortable, we're not yielded to Him in the posture that we should be. When we stay comfortable, we're not willing to change. And God needs us to change, not for bad, but for good. Changing so that we'll follow Him wherever He wants to lead us. And so I just wanted to share that tidbit with you. And the reason why is because God is taking me and pushing me out of my comfort zone again. Coming on social media was one of the biggest comfort zone changes that I've ever experienced. I was filled with an astronomical measure of fear. But as I look back now, I see the growth. Am I 100% comfortable with being on social media now? No, I'm not. But I see the growth, and I'm grateful to God for the growth. I learned that He had to use what I was afraid of the most to push me from where I was to where I am right now. Has it been comfortable? Has it been fun? Not all of it. It's still a transition that's taking place. And here I grow again, because now He's pushing me out of my comfort zone again. Is it comfortable? No. Is there a little fear there? Yeah. Has it been stagnation? Yes. But I'm really working on not doing the resistance thing. But nevertheless, that comes into play when you're dealing with fear. So what I want to admonish, just to come on and admonish you and encourage you to, even though you may feel fear in whatever it is that God may be compelling you or prompting your heart to do, just know that there may be fear there, but you can still do it despite the fear. That there will be stagnation that comes along with that fear that will make you resistant in moving and doing, so that you can get to that place, or get on that path, I should say, where God wants you to be. And then it's going to be very uncomfortable. But God is not pushing you out of your comfort zone to make you uncomfortable, to hurt you, or to ridicule you, or to sabotage you in any way. But it's to help build you up, make you strong, and stretch you so that you can have an increased capacity so that you can grow. I pray that this blesses you in some way. I wanted to just jump on and encourage you. And as God is pushing me out of my comfort zone, I'll be back to you again real soon. Enjoy your day, your evening, I should say, and you have a great week.